In this video, I want to break down the exact strategy that I've used to target homeowners using Facebook ads. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I'm the founder and kind of chief talking head guy around here over at Square One Group. Really, our mission is to help you identify your expertise and then help you scale your real estate business using systems. That said, make these videos because we want to try to bring in some new business for you. So if and when you do decide to scale, you keep us in mind because we would love to work with you. Now, today I want to talk to you about lead generation, but more specifically, getting leads from homeowners using Facebook ads. Look, Facebook, incredibly powerful tool, but you can't just throw up an ad, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. It just doesn't work that way. And if you want to get seller leads in particular, you need to start understanding the psychology of sellers. So my goal for today's video is to break down how I create Facebook ads to generate leads specifically for homeowners. And the process is actually pretty simple. There are three big questions that I always look to answer before I ever create an ad, and it gives me a ton of clarity and visibility on what I need to create. Okay, question number one is how many subcategories of a targeted group am I targeting out there? So in the case of homeowners specifically, the question that I'm trying to answer is how many types of homeowners are out there? And in my opinion, there's really two. There is the actual homeowner that lives in the home and the absentee owner. And if we break down the absentee owner, there's actually three subcategories under that. There's the owner that's either renting out the property for, either short-term or long-term rentals like Airbnbs or actual long-term year-long contracts. The owner that has this property as a second home, and the owner that's maybe using this property as an investment to maybe flip. Now, this is a really important thing to consider because once we've identified this hyper niche audience, then that leads us to question number two, which is what are the psychographics of this niche? And of what I just mentioned, the wants, needs, motivations, and frustrations, I believe that frustrations is probably the most important of the four because if we're able to identify the pain and we can create a piece of value that actually solves that pain, then we will be more likely to capture the contact information and essentially get a brand new lead. Now let's use homeowners that actually live in their home as an example. Some common frustrations could be things like home repairs and renovations, or maybe getting reliable quotes from contractors, or maybe deferred maintenance. But hold on, there's actually more if you unpack this. If we think a step further and start thinking about motivations, we can start identifying more reasons why we can create, or more opportunities to create value. So for example, a homeowner that lives in their home that's planning to sell, they could be thinking about selling because they're interested in upsizing or downsizing or relocating or wanting to be in a school district that's better for their kids. Now, if we contrast this with absentee owners, the answer to this question is completely different. Common frustrations of absentee owners, they're things like managing their property from a distance, or maybe finding reliable tenants or property managers for their property, or maybe keeping up with on-site issues that arise with the property. And if we're looking for motivations for an absentee owner to sell, it could be because they're planning to liquidate assets, or maybe there's a change in their finances, or maybe they're just wanting to divest the property because they just don't need it anymore. Okay, now that we've motivated some frustrations and maybe some motivations, then let's move into question three, which is what is something that I can create that can solve one of these problems that I identified in question two? Could it be something like creating a list of the best contractors in an area, or maybe putting together a guide for all of the best school districts in a neighborhood? Or maybe it could be a checklist to properly manage property from a distance. Now, these assets or these pieces of value that I'm referring to, they don't need to be anything fancy. You can simply just put together like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. Actually, our best performing ads for our lead gen is literally a Google Sheet, and it just works. And then of course, once I've gone through these three questions and I've identified a thing and created a thing, then the next step really is to launch the ad. Now, a thing you might be wondering about the strategy is, sure, this is gonna work to get me leads, but how is this gonna get me more homeowners that wanna sell their home now? And while you're absolutely right, maybe thinking this, I do have to point this out that this is one of the biggest misconceptions of lead generation, which is how can I run ads to get now sellers? Well, the reality is the odds of you picking up a brand new listing from a quick online marketing guide or strategy is highly unlikely simply because the average person is not going to trust you with essentially one of the largest purchases of their lives off of a Facebook ad. And the vast majority of sellers, they're not now sellers, they're actually later sellers. All that to say that the point of running ads is to solve the problem of lead generation and introduce you to new people. And then from here, this really kind of triggers the next step inside of your business's kind of journey, which is you need to start creating systems to start nurturing leads and developing the relationship with these leads that come in so that if and when they do decide to sell, they keep you in mind. Now, if you need any help with the lead nurture part of this journey, then I highly recommend you join our free Facebook group, leaving the link in the description below. And if you like this video, check out this one here. Bye for now.